first time in over a year, Ireland's own Conor McGregor fights inside the UFC's octagon this Saturday night as he takes on veteran American mixed martial artist Donald "Cowboy" Cerrone over 5 rounds in the UFC's 170-pound welterweight division. And as the week plays out, I spoke to some of the biggest and best MMA journalists in the world about the fight. How do they think the fight will go? Who do they think will win? I've spoke at length to all of these people, and all of these interviews are up in full on our Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/SevereMMA podcast and sign up there, you'll be able to listen to those interviews in full. But today what I have for you is our predictions, is their preview for the fight, how they think the fight will go and who they think will win. First up, we have veteran MMA journalist, the best MMA journalist in the world, the winner every year almost of the MMA Journalist of the Year, Helwani from ESPN, and he tells us how he thinks the fight will go.
Well, the thing is I mean, what you're saying is right. What you're saying is very smart. Like, if he has the right game plan, he will try to take him down. The casual fan may not know, but I feel like by now it's been talked about enough. Like, he's really good on the ground. Mm-hmm. He's really good off his back. Even, GSP in that video that's been shared all over the place talked about his ground game and his wrestling. He's good. He just doesn't like to use it, or this has been part of his charm. This has been part of his appeal, that he's a guy who likes to stand and trade and just go toe to toe, stand in the phone booth and just slug it out. But if he was smart, that would be the move. What you're saying, I think if he goes with the typical cowboy approach, which is just stand and trade and let's throw caution to the wind, I think this could end relatively early. I don't think that would be smart. And so it's one of those things where it's like, if you told me right now that the fight ends within 2 rounds or less, I think Conor is going to win. I don't see a scenario where Cerrone's going to knock him out, and I don't think he's going to try to take the fight to the ground or submit him, even though I think he should, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Now, if you told me the fight goes the distance, then maybe he has a much better chance, and of course we'll answer some of the questions about Conor's cardio and him fighting at 170. Is that good for his cardio, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Vegas has it right. Last I checked, he's like a plus. Cerrone's like a plus 250 or so, and Conor was like a minus 300. I feel like that's right. And I'm curious what it would have been had it been at 155. But no, Conor's the favorite going into this fight. Prime Conor McGregor, 3 years ago, who was knocking people out. Like, remember what he did to some of these guys. Mm-hmm. The Eddie Alvarez fight, to me, is still one of the best performances in the history of UFC title fights. I mean, he was just so on point that day. 3 months after going 5 rounds with Nate Diaz and couldn't even walk out of the arena. If that Conor shows up some way, somehow, I don't see this being a very long fight.
Next up, we have Ben Fowlkes, another veteran MMA journalist, one of the best writers in the world, currently working at The Athletic and recording the Co-Main Event podcast. And Ben tells us how he thinks this fight will go.
But for me, the big question for Donald Cerrone is, will he look to give everybody what he thinks that they are expecting out of him? Or will he look to be like, hey, how can I beat Conor McGregor? Where am I strong, where he's weak? And try to take the fight in those areas. Because Donald Cerrone has a great ground game, but he's not the guy who goes out there shooting a lot of double legs on people. Mm-hmm. I feel like watching George St. Pierre make his prediction, I was like, okay, hey, he kind of summed up a lot of my thoughts, which is, if Donald Cerrone were to do this stuff that is completely antithetical to everything else we've seen Donald Cerrone usually do, he could very well win it. But if you're playing the odds and you're playing everybody's tendencies, I think that what happens is Conor McGregor pressures Donald Cerrone early, doesn't really let him get any kind of a rhythm going, and gets Cerrone to play his game. And I think he stings him with that left hand and puts him in trouble. And I think Conor McGregor probably gets a TKO in the first round.
Next up, we have Luke Thomas, working for Showtime with his own YouTube channel, his own SiriusXM radio show, one of the best analysts in the game, an absolutely fantastic voice in the world of MMA. And he breaks down the fights for us, tells us who he thinks will win and how it'll go.
I think that Conor is smart. I don't like some of the things I've heard about how the camp might be running, but there's still a lot of open questions and a lack of clarity there. So you need to be a little bit, when I say you, I mean the proverbial you, I mean me, of course, reserving in our judgment about what that all might mean. Let's see how things go on the 18th. My hunch is he's going to go in there, and it's going to be a very bad matchup stylistically for Cerrone. I suspect he'll land here or there, but I think Conor, unless he has truly fallen off, I think he's going to go in there and shine. Probably first round stoppage, if not definitely in the second. I would say, I'll be honest about this. If he doesn't stop him inside, let's be fair. Connor doesn't stop him inside 3, that to me would be a very bad sign, because this is somebody who, when he was the Eddie Alvarez beating type, this would have been a very simple contest for him to win. So to me, I still think he can. I still think he will. If he doesn't, that's a problem. But I think he gets it done because Cerrone, while very good, I think he's taking a lot of damage. He's coming off 2 losses, 2 stoppage losses. Well, 2 different kinds of stoppage losses. Mm-hmm. And if Gaethje can slide back in the pocket and stop him inside of a round, there's no reason why Connor can't.
And finally, we hear from Ireland's own PC Carroll, veteran MMA journalist, who spoke at Lynn to PC during the week about all different parts of this fight. But here he is right now, telling us who he thinks will win and how it'll play out.
I see Connor starting as usual, just flying into the middle of the cage and meeting him there, and basically it's up to Cerrone to play Matador. I think, for the first 5 minutes, pick your spots. Like Jesus Christ, because Connor, I feel like Connor is so dangerous earlier on. It's just look at the first Diaz fight even. Like, how the fuck was Diaz in there at the end of the first round? Like, it was like, he's throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the guy, and I have a feeling he's going to be doing the same to Cerrone. Like, the fact that Kavanagh's talking about the championship rounds and stuff is just weird to me, Like, it's like, I don't think that's the way it goes. I'd be more to the GSP line of thought, like, where the longer this fight goes, the more it's playing into Cerrone's hands. So I do expect a very fast start from Connor, and can Cerrone tame it, basically? Can he stay in there with him? But as you said, like, his defensive work is more important than his offensive work nearly in this fight. Like, how are you going to deal with it when this guy's bull rushing you? You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to deal with that pressure? It's insane. I don't feel as though Cerrone's a fantastic takedown expert either. So the only way he's going to get Connor to the ground, I feel, is with a big shot that knocks him down or something. And that's very hard to do in itself. So it's like, I feel like a lot of it's playing into Connor's hands, and that's where I feel like he'll probably get a TKO in the second round or something, unless Cerrone can find a way to deal with him. And he hasn't historically dealt very well with people who do that, what Connor does.
And that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want to hear those interviews in full, as I said, sign up patreon.com/SevereMMA. Podcast costs $5 a month, so about €1 a week. It's not too bad. As I said, patreon.com/SevereMMA podcast. Stay tuned. Please subscribe and smash the like button here on YouTube as well, and subscribe to us. SevereMMA.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean Sheehan BA. Follow at SevereMMA as well, and follow at Padraig Foran, who produced this wonderful video. Really looking forward to the fights this weekend. I hope you are too. And please enjoy them. I'll see you all next time. Good luck.